Hello, my name is King. Thank you for coming here. And today we're going to talk about my top four male Nigerian artists that give me a wonderful feeling of Alté, of the Alté aesthetic. Now, Alté movement I don't think it's limited to fashion, but fashion wise, it is a non-conformist movement in the sense that. It is presenting yourself in a way that is true to who you are, regardless of how it doesn't align with societal expectations of you or you as a whole group of people. So I don't know if that makes sense, but basically, that's just what it is. To me, my own personal definition. And so, 2020 was a wonderful year, and it's a year that just keeps giving. The more time passes, you begin to see the trends and the newness that came forth due to that kind of situation of lockdown and quarantine and all that. Like it really made people reflect, I guess, and the reflection overall, it shows, even as time continues to pass, that human beings cannot be put in a box, are not limited by environment or circumstances, basically. These artists I'm about to mention, I don't follow them closely because I live in Nigeria, so a lot of the music I listen to are not Nigerian. But environmentally, you cannot just avoid Nigerian music. It's not possible. You're living in Nigeria. How do you avoid it? And I'm not even trying to avoid it. My interests are just largely focused, towards a different form of music, different form of entertainment. Sure. But these artists are basically unavoidable. Not unavoidable like oh my fucking god, like I don't want to see these people anymore. No, it's just unavoidable in that they are just that good. Do you get? You just have to acknowledge their talent. You just have to acknowledge their influence and their artistry. You get, like, their artistry is unique. It's unique to them. It is unique to and even if like I'm about to put them under the umbrella of they, it does not limit their broad artistry. Like you can still look them up and still find something really different, really new about them. So, but I just want to focus on the part of their artistry and personality that show forth this Alte aesthetic or movement generally. And so, in no particular order, I'll start with number one, which is Ashake. Asake is a very known name, Asake is a very known name, and because I don't keep up with Nigerian music, I could be very wrong about when I feel he came out, like when he made it, that kind of thing. Because his music journey is not today. Yeah, he has been an artist for the longest time. He only just came into limelight recently, and I feel it was, I don't know, maybe 2021, but I could be wrong because I'm not following them closely. But Ashake is very interesting, and he caught my eye when the first time I heard the song was that song. The first song of his I heard was that they never see me coming. That one he did with Fireball. I don't remember the name. I can't place the name right now. But when I listened to it, I heard sounds of like a chorus, a backing chorus, and people will be like, oh, a chorus is like a backing chorus is, I don't know if that's the name for it, but I'm calling it a backing chorus because I'm thinking of choir. And that was before I even watched the music video. It just felt like there was this choir of people, singing behind him because I was in the choir, so I know how it feels. I know what choir sounds like. You get, I know what it means, like what it sounds like when the choir is singing, and so it was so refreshing. It was so cool and it gives me chills. I was like, fuck, who is this guy? Like, what is this song? I was so fucking interested, and I was like, okay, that's the man. Like, you get, like, it was a guy singing all through. You get, and then there's this character, there's this voice that goes Olola de mi Asake. Like that kind of name, like a girly name, or if it implies femininity, like a feminine name, but that's a man. Present as a man. I don't The name is surprising. The style of his music is also surprising, and when I watched the music video, there was a lot of Very interesting element. The part where he stands and he just closes his eyes. There are like heavy grills in his mouth. I mean, it's the dentition, and he's like singing and he's sweating and he's like, they never see me coming. And he's so fucking serious about it. And he's like, oh wow, this guy means business. That's what I got from him. You get it? And since then, like, he has been everywhere, flying and really hot. Like, he's a really hot guy in the sense of his music. Me, I'm not talking about appearances. I don't really care for definitions of handsomeness or beauty or coolness or whatever. I don't really care for that. I just care about personality and what you're trying to present with your expression. I really like that. Just sound like there's always this backing symphony of like voices, like vocal or choir aesthetic. I don't know the particular name in music. I'm sure there's a name for it in music, but like people that produce music and tell me, like, that kind of thing. So then that is lyrically the music he's like that to me was just new. Like, you're different. This is not usual. We've not seen something like, even if we have, but it's been a while since we have seen it in like for mainstream music, Nigerian music. So that was one part of his artistry. Like, his music videos are always very interesting. Then yeah, and there was like choir there, like there were literal voices there. And I remember Zlatan and this Zlatan song and Chinko Ekun, I think, where they're like there's one song they sang, killing them shy, like they were in a church or something, like, and there was chorus that I remember now, but like it didn't like, that's one. You get, that's another type, but like Ashake just feels different. You get, especially to me, it just feels different. So another part of Ashake that was very interesting was when I was on Twitter and I saw this video of him. Like, people were like talking about Daffy Dog aesthetic here, and they're like, Daffy Dog really had stars. What was like, this just Ashake, and there was a literal picture of him just exactly like Daffy Duck with the over large baggy pants, cinched in with very very skinny, like body hugging turtleneck, like that. It's just Daffy Duck. And it was so freaking cool. When I saw that, I was like, bro, this guy is actually, like, I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't following his personal life, I just listened to his music. And also, but when I saw that, I was like, bro, this guy is really interesting. Like, bro, who, like, this, like, okay, I want to say that the last time I saw Baggy be mainstream, the way it is now, is so editing king here, and I realized that I made a few blunders in the sense that the baggy aesthetic and drip was just like from the 90s of like Biggie. Let me not say Biggie because I'm not too conversant with the timeline, but Snoop Dogg, Eminem, 50 Cent, a little bit of Akon aesthetic, to some extent Dr. Dre too. And if you mention Dr. Dre, I'm sure I have to like go back to like them Biggie, them Tupac, and all of them. That was just the aesthetic of baggy, and it was like forefront. It was the limelight. Everybody was wearing baggy, so that was what I wanted to correct here. And they just that was the last time I saw baggy be mainstream, and then there came the advent of skinny jeans, and now the world is healing. The world is truly healing, and that's why we have the rise of baggy jeans, especially in Nigeria. God is really healing us. There was skinny jeans, there was carrot jeans, bro. I say I went through a lot. So that very influential artists like Ashake is wearing baggy jeans. I can see, like, obviously the world was healing like after 2020, but like you can see it. The angel of peace has come and blessed us with baggy aesthetic again. And I thank Ashake for following his true instinct, like being himself, because that's another aspect of it that I'm talking about, being Alté. It's not only by how what you wear. It's mostly about non-conformity. So in any part of your life, especially people that want to join the movement or people that are thinking, okay, they like this kind of aesthetic, I feel like you shouldn't hold yourself back by thinking, oh, I don't have the persons, I don't have the closet for it. Just think in your mind, like, what is the realest, truest form of you? You get, and express it with what you have, any way you have it. You get, and I feel in that moment you are Ote, you are non-conforming, and you are being yourself. Okay, that's another fun part of being Ote, is that you get to be yourself. in a world that constantly demands you to perform, to fit society's boxes, especially in a country like Nigeria. Okay, okay, okay. So Ashake's aesthetic, interesting. He I don't think I've ever seen him wear anything that is like this. All his pants are like big ass flowy baggages, and they are not just by mistake, they are intentional because they look tailored. Do you get? They are not like, okay, I'm just wearing baggy because it's bag clothes I have or what else prove a point. No, 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 they are tailored though. They are designers, and I don't follow couture or designers, streetwear designers and all that, so I wouldn't know the name. But I've seen him hang out with a few, on social media, like taking pictures with them. And again, he was invited to a fashion week. I think it was in Milan or Paris. Like he was invited and he wore his, guy. That guy is fucking cool. Ashake is cool. So I've talked about Ashake for a very long time now. Let's talk about the next person. Is who do I pick now? Let's pick Omah Lay. Omah Lay is more lyrically Alté to me than physical aesthetics. Like you get, but when Omah Lay came out, obviously he's been doing music for a very long time, but when he became mainstream, his aesthetic, he had the big hair. Like obvious, like after the enters movement, I see what I was saying about 2020 enters movement, and also men, guys, boys were now like, there was this whole freedom. You get to lock your hair. I know it sounds crazy, maybe to some foreigners in some countries, some black people in some countries, like, but in Nigeria, locking your hair, is it that you're a child that was just born and your hair literally refuses to comb? So, like, they just let it be, and they say it's a religious thing sometimes, like dada. So, the child is allowed to keep his dada, and you'll be like, oh no, it's a church thing or it's a religious thing. My parents say they cannot cut my hair. That's according to something in the Bible. But locking your hair is a very serious fashion statement, and it's a form of expression of your Afro identity. I mean, being an African, your hair is not typical. Your hair is typical means, and it's so unfortunate. Why should typical be straight, white, European or Caucasian hair? No, your hair is not okay. And the reason why it's not typical in that sense, like when I'm speaking now, is because in Nigeria was previously a British colony, and obviously, like, to go to school, then to get jobs, to be in places of power, you have to conform to the British standard of presentation for male and female. You get, as for a male, you don't have that their stupid hair, so you have to shave your own head. You have to be on low cut, be responsible. My dad has several pictures of him in afro and all of that, but he's like, when we were growing up, one of the first people that used to say things like, oh, when you cut your hair you look like a responsible adult. Like most parents, our like millennials, our parents would tell, we grew up hearing it from our parents that, oh, why are you looking so like a ruffian? And ruffian implies your hair is either braided, you're on locks, those kind of things. And like, okay, there was also Bob Marley too, then, that was such an admired artist by all most Nigerians. Like parent boomers said, they love Bob Marley. They listen to his music and all, and that's Bob Marley. Bob Marley is an artist, and he's doing what, he's being paid for it. He's living a life for it. You are just a person. Why should you lock your hair? And it's like, that's the point. The point of having people embrace their identity, including their hair, the fullness of their afro hair, it influences the people that look like them to be free also in their expression. Like that's the point, to break away from the colonial presence that is still left over, because Nigeria is still experiencing heavy colonial presence even after they've gone, like maybe 50 something years ago, gain our independence in 1960 October 1st. So you would think by now, like 50 years plus or 60, I think we've gotten to 60, I don't know, I'm not keeping count. You think that by now Nigerians would have moved away from, the effect of those colonial expectations over the whole populace would be wearing out, but no, it's still heavy. Like you go to school, you cannot, like as a boy in school, secondary school, primary school, even in university, especially on the streets, as I talk about NSAS, before NSAS, like it was really cliquey. It was stereotypical. Like people that had own looks, people that God forbid you see somebody like now it's so commonplace. Like you walk around the street, half of the men you see there they have on cornrows or all back. I don't know how I'm calling cornrows. We call it all back here. They have on all back. They have on like little feathers on their head. That's the hairstyle, like one. They have on like just weaving your hair in a certain way, just styling your hair the way a typical a regular girl would style her hair, that you see it now, it's commonplace. But growing up, you dare not, the day you see a man with all back walking in front of you, bro, you've missed road that day. Basically, that what we will say. You've missed road. You've walked into a bad territory. Gangs are going to beat your ass up. They're going to steal your money. All those kind of things you get. So it's like that was very very intense back then growing up. And in movies too, oh god, if I start talk about the impact Nollywood had on us as children, god, this video will be 54 hours long. Like Nollywood was such a weird place, a weird industry. It's still weird as fuck till now, and it's even worse. But growing up growing up, Nollywood had this polarity of good and bad. So in a movie, there was always this fucking idea of morals of a movie, and every movie was created with the sense of, "Okay, I'm going to create a moral, like, and there's going to be a moral at the end of this story. Not just create it for the fun of creating. No, I'm going to make something be punished. Like there's going to be a person that will be punished and the person that will be rewarded. It's just like this idea of, and it comes from this very heavy religious cloak that is heavy on hanging over Nigeria, basically. I don't think it's there still till now, but a lot of people are ignoring it and making their own part. But the religiously overt presence on the country was that if you do good, you get good. If you do bad, you get bad. And if you do bad, you go to hell. If you do good, you go to heaven. And so you have stories filled in our, like, producers in Hollywood would make all these stories centered around cultism, that's fraternities, cultists, bad girls, prostitution. It's not the way you call it now. That time it was a real thing, like prostitutes, and those three vices. Those were like the demons you get, like that had to be combated by the Nigerian society back then, and they used every means to combat it. All of that. So in movies, when you see a guy braided hair, he's definitely smoking cigarettes, which I don't know. Smoking cigarette is a thing of choice, but in now I know I'm grown. Like I know that cigarettes is a choice. Any form of nicotine is a choice. But they did as if it came with the full package. Like if you're a bad boy, you would have braided hair, you smoke cigarettes non-stop, and you'd be an alcoholic. They would go around terrorizing innocent students that are just trying to go to school, finish their life, like just 4 years. Although there was also the problem of strike and everything, but all those infrastructural administrative problems that were the fault of the government were never addressed though by the filmmakers. So what was addressed was the aesthetic presentation of individuals, like non-conformist individuals. The majority of families watch Bollywood movies to teach their children things and all of that. And so there are those kind of situations where you have that kind of aesthetic, that kind of presentation of what an aesthetic means, which is very dangerous, because presentation of aesthetic is nothing more than that. It's just how you dress, it's how your hair is. Obviously you are definitely going to have non-conformist ideas, but you are not going, it's not a tell of your moral standing, of your moral values. Do you get? But it was so serious. In fact, characters that acted bad in movies were so bad in Nigeria. It was so bad. I don't know if it's still, because I don't follow Nollywood anymore. But it was so bad in Nigeria that if you were a girl or a lady, or if you're a man or a boy acting bad roles, guys, that's how people would see you. Like, I don't know, people just had this feeling of, oh, like this woman now, patience also, like she's now like this staple evil character. That's her real name, but because of how her role had been consistently being a bad woman, a stepmother, a wicked stepmother, a witch, a this and witchcraft is also part of devices. So all of that, people just use her as this icon of evil in the sense, like, which is a bit unfair. But what will I say? She's I think it's wearing out a bit because people are like dropping all those stupid sentiments. But back then, if you just saw her in a movie, you just knew, oh, shit is about to go down, and it's not shit that will be resolved in the next 1 hour of the movie. You're going to cry your heart out and be in absolute terror watching it. You know, all of it to say, sorry, the idea of having locks was insane. And then it was only expected of artists, you know, because artists are not mainstream in that sense. They are not they're allowed to be as crazy as they are because they are making money from it. That's the law in Nigeria. You can be stupid and foolish and crazy as long as you're making money. You get, you're making money. You are justified. I don't know, there's a sense of that. So Omah Lay came on the scene and he was like, boom, 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 locks, locks, locks. I didn't talk about Asake's locks because it didn't have an impact on me actually. By then, Asake came out like after Omah Lay, yeah, like became mainstream after Omah Lay. Omah Lay came out with that his big ass dreads, and he was so fucking cool. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I was like, whoa, this guy is. And then I listened to his music before I saw his face. I listened to his music because there was this song, "Do Not Disturb the Peace," that my brother was listening to. Number one, his style of music. I don't know all these musical terms, but his composition, his lyrics, yeah, they were very, very new to me. Not generally music, but new to me in the sense of Nigerian artists. Like a Nigerian artist is saying all these things. Like how much introspection has this person made? You know, enough to be able to make such beautiful music, or what have they experienced to make such beautiful music? You know, and it was so freaking cool. After that, I started paying attention to him. And that EP actually, is it Get Laid EP? It was perfect. It was beautiful. It was new. The album cover was also pretty, seemed pretty non-conformist to me. You know, like, the EP cover was awesome, and then I was looking forward to his new album. You know, so I was like, this guy is different. In the music video, he used really traditional elements. Like there were girlies dancing. Um, there were women dancing. In cultural way, which is not something you see like from the videos before 2020. I mean, for male artists, a lot of male artists before that really just were very modernized in the sense of modern being America leaning or Western leaning, you know. So the aesthetic, and obviously maybe there were some which obviously I don't know or I'm not aware of, but the ones I paid attention to really did not have anything African in them. They were more Western leaning, you know. They would sing, okay, I remember Aye by Davido. Aye is my favorite song in this life. Aye was beautiful. It had cultural elements, like in fact not just element, the whole video was in set in a village setting with cultural dancers, with the main video victim being a very pretty girl adorned in Yoruba style, you know, fashion, like traditional fashion. Her hair was done up, even the dancers were done. They were beating congon, they had a king, all of that. It was just a wonderful display of Africanness. But those kind of videos were few and far between before like 2020. You know, they were unique, they were just one of their own, one of their kind, one in their own place before 2020. And so now 2020 came, and then normally, although Omah Lay has been out for them, I just probably just noticed him after like in 2020 or something. So Omah Lay's style. Now I checked through his Instagram, and he, like, obviously I don't follow them, but his hair was all that mattered to me. I feel like if somebody's style, that is first breakout hair was just like awesome to me. Also, it's from, I think it's from PH, you know, and there's this type of slangs he used, he incorporated in all his songs till now. Like there was that should they do me that people could not make coherent sense of what he was saying there. Like the pidgin, you know, River State people's PH people's pidgin is different from the rest of Nigeria. Like every state has their own pidgin, you get. So but PH is very, very notorious because like it's like basic words that you think you know, but when it's arranged in a certain way, like it's like you're speaking a different language. Do you get? And it was so funny. Like I never heard somebody say granite, like garanoti. Like what the fuck is that? Like I've never heard that before. So but it was fun, it was interesting. Everybody had fun with the music, everybody had fun with the lyrics. Omah Lay, like, is just, and he's still flying. He's so interesting as a person. His sense of, is typical, the typical way you'd expect somebody like him to go is like, okay, maybe after the first EP he would be all, let me please a certain. No, 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 this brother is keeping to his audience. Like, he's listening to, and I don't think he's listening to his audience as much as listening to himself. So that's where the Alté aesthetic is, or they feel like I get, that's where I get from him. His music is based off of what he wants. Do you get? His music is based off of, his music videos are directed and produced in a very, this is obviously this individual's idea of the video. The director probably just is here to make his pictures in his head come to life. Do you get? Is not like, I can't give credit to the directors except for where credit is due, in the sense of, okay, they made it come to life perfectly, but that this is a picture somebody already has in his head. Do you get? And it shows in the lyrics already. The way he composes his music sounds are, till tomorrow, always very unique. And as unique as they are typical to him. Like Omah Lay's sound in Do Not Disturb My Peace is the same thing. Like, it's still Omah Lay in this new EP, in this Holy Ghost song that just came out, this single that came out. You still hear Omah Lay in it. Some money artists, especially male artists, they lose their identity as they begin to make money. I don't want to call somebody's name because they will just chop me, but they lose their identity, the bigger money, like, they lose their hunger, they're not more hungry. Do you get? And it's like, if hunger is what inspired you to start your art, do you get? Eventually you're going to be full. So what kind of art are you going to make when you are full? Do you get? People that are Alté leaning or Alté inclined usually are also very themselves. They're very individualistic. As you can see, Omah Lay is very individualistic. I don't know, I just get that feeling from him, like the way he, I don't think he has featured people, a lot of artists on his album, but he has featured on other people's, I think he has featured with other people's sounds. um his style of dressing also, I went on Instagram. Obviously you'd say, okay, maybe the brand dressing well, but somehow it also looked like him. So this the energy they got from him that they used to dress him up. And I'm talking about Louis Vuitton. Like, LV is like a brand ambassador for LV, I think. And so the outfit he was given to wear, the pieces he was given to wear, still reflected on Mali. Like, that's on Mali as a person. Then the new Holy Ghost music video is pretty Alter in my books, to me, because of his uniqueness of sound, because of his hair. And although he cut his hair and now he's growing it out again, and the way he's growing it out is a very interesting way. I mean, locked, also it's still locked, it's not growing afro. Like, I think he was going through something, so he cut his hair. That's very interesting. Like, people usually start some kind of hairstyle to show a certain way they are feeling in their lives, and it's usually an imbalance. There's an imbalance somewhere, and so they want to do this outward expressions to come to contact with who they really are. And then over time it lessens. But on my lay is like, that's the natural state of who I am. This hair, this everything, I'm very balanced, I'm okay. And then when I'm not balanced, and then that's when you see me looking like a normie. Like, when things are not really good, going on good in my head, that's when you see me looking like a normie, kind of mourning. He cannot be himself because he's sad or he's going through things, and all of that. But I don't want to go into that discussion. The point is just his aesthetic and the authenticness of his presentation, of his self-expression.